Welcome to my networking service. My name is Micah. This is video number 2 of a 5-video series where I will be providing general information about what I do. In this video, I will be talking about my work history. So the very first thing I'm going to talk about is my education. So I have 2 degrees. My first degree is a Bachelor's of Arts in General Psychology, and I received that from the University of West Florida in the year of 2013. So overall, I liked the experience of that season of my life. There was a lot of self-development that happened, but the program itself I did not like. It wasn't about the program, it was about just what it was across the board. It's what it's about, and it was just very clinical, very inhuman, very professional versus someone that is struggling with mental health issues, and it just felt very disconnected. And so I was not a big fan of that program. And again, like I said, it's about the degree, it's not about the program itself. It was a good program for what it was, but it was the only option I had at the time. So from there, I decided I wanted to learn more. I wanted to work on myself. I wanted to help other people in the way that I was helping myself. So I pursued a Master's of Arts degree in counseling with a specialty in marriage and family therapy. I received this degree from East Tennessee State University in the year of 2016, and I liked this program. I made personal connections. I developed a mentorship relationship with somebody in the program. I learned a lot about the history of the profession and the people that came before me and what they believed helped people and what relationships were all about. And so I pull a lot from that experience into both my personal life and then just how I support other people. So that was a positive experience overall. And so from there, I then started working in the public setting. So for 1 year during the program, I worked in a mental health agency, community agency. I did that for a year as an internship. And for 6 months, I worked in child services. For 6 months, I did adult services. Similar in most ways, a little bit of differences just for learning purposes. And just like psychology, I didn't like that experience. So I met a lot of good people along the way, but felt too clinical, felt too driven by trying to make money off the people that were coming into the office. They were struggling with like homelessness and drug problems, and just the resources that were being provided, and a lot of it was medication driven. And personally, I feel like there's real world things that need to be changed, not just talking to somebody, especially in those situations, and then just trying to make money off of them. I didn't like it. So from there, I went into 2 years as a senior staff member at the counseling center on the university campus that I got my therapy degree from. So that experience I liked. I liked the people I worked with. I liked the students. I enjoyed talking to them just about what they were going through, the transitions in their life, what they wanted to do with their lives, the personal relationships they were transitioning out of or deeper into. So I enjoyed that experience, but it got to the point where I wanted to do my own thing. I was kind of functioning out of everything I learned for the program, and then I started to develop some patterns, and then I noticed just organizing them in a certain way was helping me more. So I just started to do that, and then I was like, hey, I want to break out and do my own thing. So I did private practice for 6 years. 2 years of that was working into a temporary license. I had a temporary license for 2 years, and then I was fully licensed for 2 years. So private practice, I learned a lot from that experience. I did everything myself. I did the marketing. I had my own office space. I did the work itself. And I enjoyed individual work. I enjoyed talking to people individually as they transitioned out of relationships into relationships, developing a better, more holistic relationship with themselves. What I did not like was couples and families work. That was my specialty, and that's what I was interested in, but what I learned through that experience was that couples and families usually just get in a stalemate of sorts where it's just like a stress relief cycle, and bringing me into the equation just kept that process going instead of encouraging a breaking point. So I was just a form of relief. And as I pushed progress, the couple family dynamic would usually come up against that, and it just wasn't productive in my experience. So I enjoyed the individual work, the couples and family stuff. I did not enjoy. It was a mess most of the time. So, but that's just what I was taught. That's what our culture still promotes. So I learned a lot from that regardless. So I want to talk a little bit about what I was doing at that time and what I'm doing now. So there's a difference between the two. So what I was doing at that point was I was a counselor, I was a therapist. So the idea is that I am facilitating a relationship with somebody. I'm invisible enough where they see themselves in me, ideally, symbolically, metaphorically, and they will then be able to interact with themselves in a more efficient way in the real world. And so the goal is for me to stay hidden. To limit the details about me personally that come out. And that I did find that productive. I think it has limitations, and that's why I'm no longer doing it. The limitations are there are real world experiences where people need real people to connect to. So we need real jobs, we need places to live, we need people to share our interests with, we need dating relationships that we can have empathy for each other for what we have gone through in the past. So I believe counseling is important, but I was dealing more with the real world stuff, and then I just didn't have the resources to give to people as far as in that position. So that's why I left. There was a certain level of powerlessness I had for actually helping people, and so the few moments here and there that I had that I was doing productive work wasn't enough to not only keep a business going, but then also to satiate why I'm doing this in the first place, which is to kind of change the mental health culture a little bit. So what I'm doing now, and so why I'm doing it is, well, I talked about why I'm doing it in the first video, but so I'm taking myself out of the process more, and then as a networker, I am connecting you using the process that I created as a counselor and connecting you directly to somebody that can connect to what you're going through. And ideally, it's a mutual experience. So then you can connect to something that they're going through. So whether it's a one-way connection or it's a transactional symbiotic one, that is what I'm doing. That's why I'm networking, is actually helping people connect to the resources they need. I think as they experience this process, or as you do if you decide to do this, I think you will naturally be helped in the way that a counselor would help you. My reasoning for that is because I noticed that my life started to improve just as I talked to people and I interacted with new people, and I saw what everybody was going through. Is very validating for me. And so just seeing what other people are going through as you're networking and finding people to connect to for real world experiences, I think will be more helpful than just counseling in and of itself. So that's the difference between the two, what I used to do, what I'm doing now. And so I thought it was important just to talk about that briefly. So the last thing I'm going to talk about real quick is perspective. So what makes this different from just real world experiences of just meeting somebody at work, at school, through somebody, is that a lot of times we don't put the substance that we have internally out there, mostly because there's opportunities for people to take advantage of that. So a part of the process here is that I am doing interviews. So these interviews are about 15 to 20 minutes long, And the purpose of them is to pull this substance out so that people can then see that substance that's in you and to connect to it directly. Unless you're being asked certain questions in a certain order, this substance may not be seen by other people. And that's why this is the first step in this process and what I think is important. So these interviews are done via video chat, and that way you're in a comfortable space, I'm in a comfortable space, and we can kind of experience each other a little bit before the next part of the process. And I will provide one interview for free, that way you can have the experience without any financial risk. And then any other one you want to do past that, there's a certain service fee, which I'll talk about in video number 5, that will be per hour. So feel free to reach out to me. You can email me. There's a little contact box at the bottom of this website. And that's for scheduling interviews, is one of the reasons to contact me. So just let me know, hey, I want to do that 15-20 minute interview. I want to do the complimentary one, or anytime past that. Yeah, just let me know. So the second perspective that we kind of miss out on. So first of all, we miss out on the substance of the people around us, but then also the people around us. So we don't know how many options are actually around us. And again, that just comes down to being at the wrong place at the wrong time. And we're just not syncing up, not connecting. So the second part of the process is giving perspective into the people around you and giving you a general overview of your options. So the overview is something that is going to be offline. I'm going to have it on an iPad, and it will be a compilation of all the interviews that I've had with people. And so you can then look through this as a in-person experience. So we meet up in person at a place that you're comfortable with, and you look through your options. And so that way you can tell me, hey, I connect to what that person's going through or what they're talking about, whatever level of support they're looking for. Maybe they want to give support, or just whatever meaning of life they're kind of putting out there in the world. And so this is an experience that can last anywhere from minutes to a full hour. And so I will charge per hour. So whether you use a couple minutes, 15 minutes, 37 minutes, whatever amount of time in that hour, I will charge for that full hour, just because that gets in the way of other people. Like if you do a couple minutes, then I lose out on time with somebody else. So that I will talk more about pricing of that too in the 5th video, but I will also provide that once for free or complimentary. That way you can do the interview, you can look at the options, and just kind of experience the whole process, both parts of it, and see if it's something you would like to keep doing. So I enjoy doing it. It's something I believe in, and I hope people get excited for it. They start to enjoy it. They see something different in it, something that is significant, something that matters for just mental health culture and just what we're experiencing right now with technology and everything else. So that's all I got for this video. To learn more about my aspirational values, watch the next video in this series. Other than that, hope to work with you soon.